My name is James Bawi Thang Bik. I'm come from Chin State, which is a west part of Myanmar. So in Chin, there's really just a minority ethnic groups in Myanmar. So actually, there's very strong discrimination, persecutions from the government of Myanmar because the government Myanmar is under the ruling powers of military. So this is when I was young in my Chin State. This is my brothers now living in the United States. So if you look at this. There is no education in my Chin State and my village, so we have no school, but then we didn't have the chance to go to school. So this is how I live. But then I don't remember when I was that. But then the Chin people, we are actually 90% of Chins are Christians. So because of religions, we were persecuted and discriminated because Myanmar government they said this is from Western religions. Yeah. So Europe religions, so they don't like it in Myanmar. So they said Myanmar must be fully Buddhist, one religions, one nation. So this kind of thing. So and then due to the education, because my mom really concerned about my education, so she sent me to orphanage. So I live in orphanage in 2005. So I completed my high school. But then at the time I blame my mom for sending me to orphanage. But then this time I thanked to my mom because of I got education in my life. So whatever, yes, mom laughed in my life. But then 2010, due to child soldier recruitment, I fled from my country. And then also to meet my mom because we have been apart many years. So I wanted to meet my mom because I knew that my mom was in Malaysia before she went to United States. So I came to Malaysia and then crossing the borders of Thailand and then by the agents. And then as I arrived in Malaysia, I work as a chef in Arab restaurants. And then also I study by supporting by myself. Nobody sponsored my education, but then I work at restaurants, and then the day, I study. But then sometimes it was very hard. Sometimes bleeding from my nose, fall down, conscious because of my tiredness, everything. But then it was okay. But then 2013, I joined IOM as an interpreter. But then during I was joining in IOM, I realized that some of my people, they were, because in Chin people in Malaysia, there are 40,000 Chin living in Malaysia, refugee under UNHCR protection. But then in that time, UNHCR was like, doing something. I heard that, so they're taking back their protection, their UNHCR, because UNHCR is respected by the immigration of Malaysia. So if they are holding UNHCR card, they are not arrested anymore. But then UNHCR, they are taking back the cards from the Chin people. It meant they are not provided protections and legal protections anymore. So for that case, how I looked for help was I sent those reports released to all the media like the Stars and the Suns, all social medias, everything for help because I wanted to report these cases because it's a very serious cases because it harms human life. Because when they lost in the cards protection, some of them they committed suicide because they were forced to return back to their country. But then nobody. But then when I sent all the letters, everything, there was the only media respond my email. It was Rage. They're under the Stars, so they responded my email and then they contacted me about how the Chin people were suffering in Malaysia by losing the UNHCR kind of protections. So many people, they stopped their education. So this is how we documented this. Elroy, my friend, he's from Rage. So he helped me to document everything, all the challenge and the sufferings of my people. So we started documenting. We met my people. We asked them how you lost your cards and or why you can't go back to your country. You're the Chin State. So this kind of thing we documented. And then after that, many. Against UNHCR policy, I have to quit my job from IOM because IOM is under UNHCR. So if I against UNHCR policy, I will be fired. So it's fine. I just quit my job and I work currently I'm working in ACR as a going down. So because this is our Chin refugee community organization, so I work here as a volunteer to against UNHCR policy. So when I joined UNHCR, suddenly they announced their sensation. They said Chin people are no more refugee, so they cannot be accepted under UNHCR policy. So they all must go back to their country. It was forced. So it was a very bad decision they made UNHCR. So that sensation policy harmed many people. 6 cases were committed suicide. So after that, in 29 June 2018, I led demonstrations in front of UNHCR. So 500 people joined my demonstrations, and then I shouted, but then it was scary, and then I feel shy at the time, but then it was okay, because if you look at the children, they lost education. If they don't have UNHCR cards, they can't continue their education. So all the documentations with screens with Rage in one of the Methodist church in 2020, October, we invited immigration officer from Malaysia's immigrations and the UNHCR represented everything. And then Here is my friend Heidi. Also, she was there. So she was the one who spotted my fight. So, and then also I continue press conference to against UNHCR to review the policy because it's inhuman and it killed my people. So I told UNHCR, this Gloria is the one who helped me for my press conference and Ganita. So this I asked UNHCR to review their policy as soon as possible. Yeah, this when we were like, and then also Maria Chen. I think many of you might know this Maria Chen, MP of Petaling Jaya, and then MP of Galang Jaya, Charles Santiago. They joined my press conference too. They asked UNHCR to review their policy as soon as possible to save people's life because many people they lost education, they lost their life. So they said they condemned the sensations of UNHCR. During my fight, the one who spotted my fight was Rach, Heidi over there, and then Marianne. She's one of a preacher, and then Tanaganita NGO and Pastor Michael Moyes. These people they strongly supported my fight because at the time many people they refused to help my people, but then only these 5 people they helped me. But then continuing the fight, UNHCR finally they in 14th March 2019 they said they reviewed their policy, so they will continue protections for Chin people again. So they said their policy and their decisions was wrong. It was mistaken. So they will continue again. They said it on 14 March. It was our victory. And then for all my process and my fights, everything is written in the book. This is my last book that we published just in 10th of August 2018. Yeah, Malaysia Kini report about this. Thank you very much.